going to take a little closer look at the 1967 Camaro that I've got here today. This is an RS 4-speed car that is a relatively correct car, restored, original car, and done quite well. So let's look it over here a little bit and talk about it. Now, under the hood, it's got the 275 horse 327, and if you look close, you'll see it has the double hump fuelie type heads on it. It has the casting numbers that belong on it. There's a lot of GM pieces and parts in here that all the numbers guys are going to really look at real close and say yes, no, whatever as far as being authentic or correct. But generally, very nicely done 67 RS. And we'll look up here at the code. Somebody's going to say, what's it say on there? Well, you look yourself, you can see what it says. And I'm just looking at general quality of restoration, looking at hardware and so forth. You can see that the car came apart quite a bit to be done, and was done very well. Black plate tells us it was originally bought new in California, and I'm going to show you something else on that, how you can tell if a car is an original California car. Well, of course, there's original production sheets, the build sheet, so forth, that if you're lucky enough to have one, you'll have that to look at to see where it was sold first and where it was built. All that's in the numbers. Something else to look at on these cars, I know you can't see it, but the bug or the number information in the glass has a date code, and of course it'd be LOF, and the date code should all be within a reasonable amount of time of each other. So this is an original windshield here, LOF with the date code, and this is LOF here. This is also the bug for this one and this one. They all match. It's very, very nicely done car. And so now let's look a little bit inside. What I was telling you is on the registration in the state of California, they will include, I don't know if this will focus in there or not, but it says date first sold. In the state of California, if the car has a record back to the original date of sale, they'll put that year in there. They're not supposed to put any date in there if the car came in at a later time. So that's a pretty good indication that it was bought new, first sale in California. Okay, now I'm going to look at some of this stuff here. When I open a door of a car and I see that the hardware and the latch doesn't have overspray on it, tells me right off that that came out when it was repainted. And so we look at the hardware and the rubber just to see what's going on there, and I can pull back the rubber a little bit. I can see that the doors and pieces were all painted apart. Now look at the seam here, where the outside skin was crimped over the inner piece. You can see the seams are very clean and straight, not mudded up with sealant or Bondo to hide what may have been damage or rust. Very nice doors. Okay, we're going to look inside some of these other places. You know, there's the original body seam where the quarter panel went on, so you're going to look at all of this area here and see if there's any bubbles where original seams were put together and there might be rust or something underneath them. Nothing going on here on this car like that. Going inside the car, Gonna look at seats and upholstery and trim. I don't normally pull seats apart or pull the seat bottoms out unless there's some specific agreement that it needs to be done. And but I will look inside glove box and try to look up underneath the dash to see if I can see where there's been water damage, so forth. We'll look inside here, look at the door hinges, the inner panels, and bottoms of fenders as much as we possibly can. And of course, headliner, lights, so forth, all the trim inside. See what's here, what's working, what's not. The backs of these seats have some place to look at. They're known to get beat up and broken. These are all really nice. Console's in good shape. It doesn't look like anybody's had their girlfriend sitting on a console to break the console top door. The molded door panels, you can see that there's some slight little cracking going on in here. You can see where the window crank handle has been a little tight against the panel there, making a mark. Pot metal chrome in the wing window frames. Pretty nice shape. The handle has a little pitting on it. The windows I've rolled up and down, all four of them. Roll up and down fine. We'll go around the back here a little bit and look at this back panel. We all know that the Camaros and the cars of this era trap dirt in here because people don't wash their cars right. The dirt holds moisture and rusts out this panel, and then they'll leak inside. So on these cars we want to get in the trunk and look up underneath this area up in here to see if there's evidence of repair or rust or, old water damage. Looks pretty nice up in there. When possible, we'll try to look way up in here with the flashlight, see what's going on with the quarter panels to see if they're original to the car. And of course we're going to pull the mat back and look in here as best we can, and especially at the back of the car to see if there's any evidence that it's got a new tail panel or anything else. So all part of what I want to look at on a car when I'm doing one for you guys. Up here, everything in here needs to be looked at and get a better idea of what's going on with the car. Here's all the books and manuals and records that go with this car, all wrapped up in the shrink wrap, so they'll get there in one piece. Trunk lid. Okay, here we go, part 2. Gonna look at tail lights, lenses, chrome, bumpers. Could use a little touch-up paint on the headlight or tail light lens surrounds. And something I didn't notice before, that lens has got a crack. Okay, so I'm going to look at the tail panel. Of course, we can get an idea what kind of condition the engine's in by looking at the exhaust, see how it's burning. Most of these things are running rich, but this one actually kind of nice color actually. Oh, that's pretty good. Alright, let's go underneath it as long as I'm back here. And we'll see, very nicely done. The monoleaf springs, nice exhaust, 10-bolt rear, detailed, cleaned, painted chassis. Looks like a very extensive restoration, correctly done. Gonna look at the bottom of the rockers inside there, tail pan, bottom of trunk floor, everything in place. No overspray on all of the lines and cables and so forth, so the car was apart quite a bit to do. The fit of the trunk, all the gaps, very nice. Looking down the side of the car, I don't see it's not wavy, it's nice and straight, looks good. Attention to detail in here. Notice the new hardware, new brackets, the original exhaust brackets there. E70 or F7014 reproduction Firestone bias ply tires, and now we'll go here underneath the car and get you a shot of the floor, the floor pans, the rockers. Notice the painter was not lazy. He knew how to bend his knees and get down here and put paint on those rockers. Very nicely done. That's what I expect in a restoration. Okay, here we are, driver's door again. The seams, really nice. Good solid doors, glossy paint, smooth metal. Very nicely done. Door panel. There's a spider. I got rid of the spider. Yeah, the VIN plate should be like this. Should not have paint on it. That's the way it's supposed to be. And again, inside the door, backside of fender, hardware and trim, all very nice. Up under the dash, firewall pads in very good shape. Very nice. The felts, whiskers, very nice. Again, we're looking at finish, fit and finish. The bow tie mirror. I guess you guys all know how to tell which ones are authentic and which ones are reproduction. I'll leave that up to you. Something that's really difficult to do is to get a decent coat of paint down inside here. Of course, the removal of this entire grill is necessary to get in there and get clean and put the paint in there so it's in good shape. I can see that that's what was done on this car. So there you have it, 1967 RS on its way from Napa. Steve had to give up his toy. It was time to let it go, and I hope that the new owner, Pat, enjoys the car in New York. Oh, looks like the cat's been playing in the field. What do you think, Bailey? Are we done? Okay, back to the car. So, there you go. Hope you liked the video of the Camaro. Thanks for watching.